Hello and welcome to another Modswell video. I'm your host Maxwell. Today I'm going to be taking a look at my top 5 mods of the week. These last few weeks have shown a real turn in the modding scene with a huge focus on bundled packages, allowing us to really hit the next level on console. This is making that 150 mod limit cry itself to sleep as we blast right through it and create something wonderful in our games. I am going to be keeping track of all of these bundles with the intent of making a video on it down the line. If that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know in the comment section below. But this intro has gone on for long enough, so let's get down to business. In 5th, we have a mod to suit my playable character, Mr. Jerry All. Yes, that is seriously his name. Here we have Grandmaster, Woven Armour and Swords. This is a little setup from one of my favourite game franchises, The Witcher, and yes, I am aware that it was a book first. This mod includes the Grandmaster Woven Armour set in 2 colours, a brownish style fit for a rogue or a black getup perfect for a thief. They look absolutely identical to how they looked in The Witcher 3. Even as intricate and detailed, which is incredible when you consider the steps up in graphics from one game to the next. Alongside these fantastic new armours, we also get access to 2 new swords, the silver and steel swords, both complete with their own custom scabbards to keep them separate from one another. Both the armour and weaponry have been designed for late game play. The armour coming with stats equal to Dragon Scale, making it one of the top picks for a light set, and the weapons being in line with Dedrick, making them viable in the end game. To gain access to these, simply head over to a forge, and as long as you have the Ebony Smithing perk, you can create them. This might be slightly easy to get, especially for such good stats. However, when something looks this nice, I don't really want it hidden behind too many walls. However, the recipe to create them are quite funky, requiring certain alchemical ingredients to create each of them, so it does keep them somewhat fair. I have already talked about the quality, but there is an extra twist. This mod comes in 3 standards. 1K costing 36.7 megabytes, the 2K is 65.4 megabytes, and finally the 4K coming in at a whopping 152.7 megabytes. There is definitely a noticeable increase in standard as you go up the resolution, but I was actually more than content with the 1K. However, if you want all the extra bells and whistles with the finest detailing, then you do have that option open to you. In 4th, I have chosen Uruk-Hai Bandit Replacer. I don't know how many Lord of the Rings orders I've seen in my time playing this game, or how many times I've been asked to make one myself, which I do promise I will get around to, and this mod will have pride of place in that order. It, as I'm sure you've guessed by its name, will replace the bandits in your game with Uruk-Hais from Lord of the Rings, or more accurately, it replaces all bandits with models of Skyrim style orcs. But that's not really what this mod's about. Whilst that is pretty cool, it's the weapons and armours that have been given to them that really brings that Middle-earth spice to Tamriel, with multiple new chest pieces, multiple helmets and shields, all emblazoned with the infamous white hand. The blades are also really recognisable from the Battle of Helm's Deep, such as the wide swords with the angled edge. The detailing when compared to the movies is truly outstanding, and before you remove the helmets, you'd hardly notice that they were just Skyrim orcs instead of Lord of the Rings Uruk-Hai. Originally I thought that would bother me, until I came to the conclusion that it's just a really smart way of saving space, and when you consider the sheer variance of new weapons and armours to this game, 66.7 megabytes is actually really manageable, meaning the intelligent move truly did pay off. I love this mod as it is so hugely impactful on role-playing. Even changing the bandits to a single race actually felt quite conceptually cool. That being said, I would love to see an evolution to this mod where other Lord of the Rings enemies got thrown in too. This could change the spawn variants, and additions like Warg Riders and Easterlings could really fit this ethos, although as shipped, it's already a great mod. I'm currently running this with more bandit camps, faction warfare and some AI overhauls to fix up the combat, and I'm not experiencing any problems at all. However, I can't imagine this would work with the likes of Obis or anything that purely affects bandits as a class, so if this mod seems like it would be up your street, then do be wary of those. Let's move on to my 3rd pick. Here we have another Substeel combo mod. This time it's Combat and Archery Overhaul bundle. This is going to be a big one for a lot of people, I should think, as it contains a bunch of fan favourite mods, sprinkled with a few outstanding hidden gems just to top things off. Let's take a proper look at what's under the hood. First off is the mod performing most of the heavy lifting, Wildcat Combat of Skyrim. This mod includes a ton of features to overhaul combat, with stamina being a focus to victory for warriors and archers, giving way for mages to perform more on the level with them. It also has AI, so the enemies act according to what style of combat they're most keen on, so mages and archers for example will stay back and find the high ground. There's also a new stagger mechanic involved, meaning you can be taken out of your current action should you be hit. And finally, injuries, meaning you need to be paying attention or you'll get caught out and move slowly or be staggered more easily. Don't worry though, all enemies are also at risk of the same mechanics. Beyond Wildcat, we also get mortal enemies, which reins in the silly lunge and perfect movement given to all foes, as well as search and destroy, which makes the enemy AI more lively when it comes to finding you. They'll track you down for longer, over a larger radius as well, and not just ignore when you attack their allies, which is just so much more realistic. This bundle also includes an Archery Overhaul that looks pretty perfect, with the likes of proper aiming to have arrows leave at the reticule, which helps if you've made any camera tweaks. Simply faster arrows and bolts to make those long shots go down that bit quicker and allow for tighter quarters fighting. Auto-equipped best arrow, so when you run out of your last dragon arrow, you aren't now hitting a boss with some iron garbage, and of course, no Archery Overhaul will be complete without no BS AI projectile dodge. This isn't the Matrix out here, so this is a very happy inclusion. And if that wasn't already enough, there are a few really nice cherries on top with mods like visible favorited gear to show off all your fancy weaponry on your back even when you're not using them, player head tracking so you actually look at the bodies on the floor or even at the people speaking to you in towns for a touch of extra realism, and finally subsurface scattering to make the light hit your face correctly. Nothing to do with combat, but it's a really nice addition to your order nonetheless. This is a huge setup. Once again, Substill has basically gone through fan favourites and just thrown them together in such a way that we can now have a damn near 400 mod order, and that's just amazing. But things can always be better. What if I told you this mod was only going to set you back 693 kilobytes? Seriously, I'm not kidding. You cannot afford to not have this mod in your order. Moving on to second place. Here I'm going to choose Headhunter Bounties Redone. Have you ever found it strange that merely saying you've wiped out the bandit camp or slayed the giant, the dragon, whatever the bounty was, you're just given the prize? Pal, I'm literally the leader of the Thieves Guild, I'm known as a liar on par with Maik. Finally, this mod is going to fix these trusting fools and have them asking for actual evidence of the kill, and it's pretty cool how it goes down too. Let's say you've killed the bandit leader. Go through their inventory and select the proof item. The screen will fade to black, and on return you'll be standing over a newly beheaded mark. Return the proofs to the Jarl's Court and pick up your gold. You've earned it for carrying a severed head around, to be fair, but I'm not done. Imagine you're playing as a good character. You can't walk around lopping off heads, right? That would probably not put you in many people's good books, but this mod does have you covered. Defeat your mark to the point where they take a knee, like at the end of a brawl in vanilla. You know, the spot where the slightly crazy ones of us make a quick save to just, never mind. At this point, you can just talk to them and demand their surrender, and strangely, you can also loot them, and that's fine by me because lost treasures are always sad. Once they've surrendered, a guard will show up to take them to jail, and you'll be able to claim your bounty. A very cool touch is that you can actually visit these NPCs in jail and have them just kinda shout at you for a while. However, only 8 of them can be held at a time, so any more and it's off with the eldest prisoner's head. There's even a mechanic to forgive giants, and they'll simply lope off over the mountains, never to cause trouble again. This mod is playable alongside mods like Missives too, but you will need a patch to get it working right. I would say, beyond that, still check to see compatibility with anything that adds or edits bounties and potentially AI, however I've had no issues so far. This is potentially one of the best immersion based mods, and for only 9.1 megabytes, it's also something of a steal. I'll be doing a ton of testing to see how far I can push this mod, as it's quickly become a must have for me. I see this being featured in many orders going forward. And finally, time for my favourite mod of the week. This one is the new lighting mod, LUX, which seeks to fully edit interior lighting with reworks to bulbs including colour range and fade, fixing vanilla lighting bugs, ensuring that light sources actually cast light, the removal of many instances of unnecessary lighting effects as well, as they just weren't realistic, and, on top of this, an addition of shadows to many of these light sources. With all of these edits, the lighting has become so much more realistic. I'm a big fan of ELFX. I find it to have a really nice palette, and the extras that you get with it make it such a good mod. But this setup is for people after realism above beauty in 90% of scenarios. The only area I actually think ELFX wins against LUX is with brightness. I happen to like the dark lighting setups, but I also have to warn people just in case they don't. LUX is consistently dark when away from light sources. The darkness actually kicks in extremely quickly. This makes it hyper realistic in dungeons, but somewhat less so in houses and shops. I've also found this mod to work better with Inferno than ELFX does, which actually helps to brighten it up that little bit. You can also throw on something like window shadows modules for extra light and realism, making this a cheap, realistic, consistent, beautiful answer to ELFX. And when I say cheap, this mod is going to set you back 15.8 megabytes. Not necessarily the cheapest lighting when you consider ELE, but for me this is a really nice balance of that mod and ELFX, which funnily enough is one of the main setups I've seen people talk about with great amounts of love. This is an easier, cheaper way to achieve that look, and it's also very light on performance, with those edits mentioned above actually making some of the areas feel smoother than in the base game. This could be because the author has removed some unnecessary lighting to help with the aesthetic, but it has had a really positive effect on my game. This mod so far also needs less patches than most other lighting mods that make these kind of changes, however this is early days so they could start appearing soon. Strangely enough, Clofus has mentioned in his port that it may require patches for a few audio mods, which seems incredibly strange, but the man does know what he's talking about, so I do trust him on that. If you happen to be running music or sound replacers, I'd love to hear how it's working in your game, so leave that information in the comment section and I'll be sure to pass it around. On that however, I am going to call it. If you'd like to talk mods, gaming or just life, then please come and join us over on the Discord server. You'll find a link to that in the description below. And if this has helped, I would as always appreciate those likes, comments and of course subscriptions. They help push my work out further and they fill me with joy. Either way, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.